be able to really do that is the down in the F blues scale.
He's a professor. A professor of jazz.
Here we go, Broadway, the in the pocket version first.
Rodney Whitaker is here in Detroit, teaching these kids to swing.
You ready, Noah? Noah, Noah, two, Noah, two.
It's part of MSU's push to bring music education to some rough parts of Detroit and other areas.
In the city, you have a lot of people, a lot of kids, in the streets, and you don't know what they're doing out there, you don't know what their situation is. So pretty much getting them involved here, it kind of gets them away from, the possibilities of, gangs and other things. Getting them in music helps them. Actually, my band director told me that, scientifically, that, being in a music program helps you, get in school, get you focused, helps you better. And I think that needs to happen more here in this area.
I would agree that music gets you into something else and gives you focus and gives you purpose to your life.
It gives you something to work for. It gives you something to be a part of. And it just gives you a nice place to go to.
For Rodney, the Detroit Symphony has always been a place to go. The place to go. He grew up playing music here. It changed his life. And now he's passing it on. Now he's home.
So it was a natural fit because it was really coming home, helping to raise or nurture the next generation.
And of course, it fits with MSU's outreach missions. These kids get to learn, rehearse, and play in front of hundreds of people. It makes a difference.
You're setting an example of yourself. You're showing what you have musically, and you can share that with others in the band. And it's a good experience. I recommend if you want to go further in your music, this is the place to go.
Something about Detroit, just being involved in the CJO, Civic Jazz Orchestra, it's a great feeling.
There is something about Detroit. Rodney says there's too much negativity out there, but it's out there, not in here. In here, it's about good news.
The music is probably the best news that we typically promote in a positive. And I think that the music has always been uplifting. And I think it's sort of a travesty in a way that we live in a time where, especially a city like Detroit that has produced so many incredible musicians, we're in a time where they're trying to dismantle the music programs and art programs in the city of Detroit. And it doesn't make any sense when given the fact, can you imagine if you were a student in Paris and they decided they were going to take art out of the schools, what kind of uproar would happen? And I think that music is a vehicle for expression, but it also is about liberation, and healing. And the power of it is that musicians, their healing begins with healing themselves.
For these kids, it's a chance to learn and grow with the help of one of the best in Rodney.
Watch the tempo, too. We're rushing a little bit. One, lay back. 1, 2, up, 2, 3.
It's kind of surreal, actually, because I've heard a lot about Rodney, Professor Whitaker, and I don't know, something about working with a guy of that magnitude, somebody that important, I don't know, it's just amazing. Not everyone gets to do that every day.
He's funny, After probably rehearsing his song, he'll have a story time, He's like, oh yeah, yeah, I used to work with this cat, yeah, me and Randy Gillespie, yeah, we were at this club, just talking about, his Michigan State band, his jazz band, or working with some of the jazz greats, and it's pretty funny, and it's pretty cool knowing a guy like that.
When you encountered other musicians, the elder statesmen, so to speak, or the veterans, they were always so positive, especially at the time I grew up in, talking early 80s, when you saw a young guy trying to play jazz, they embrace you immediately, and you are immediately a part of a fraternity.
And jazz is all about passing it on, moving it forward, making it swing.
Go from the top again.
And the music is about hope. Rodney says you gotta be aware of the hope.
Sometimes you could be so bombarded by negativity that you can't see it. And so I think it's also the job of education, whether it's K through 12 or college education, to teach, to give folks hope. Education is hope.